So I do want to talk about some of the ways that you can kind of help yourself before you get too bad,
Okay.
before you spiral or whatever.
Okay, let's go.
So it's like getting outside, getting fresh air and sun because it's really good for you.
Are you talking
It's
about dealing with mental health or are you talking about fighting COVID?
both. Just stop.
Yeah.
Oh. Um, of course, like we said, talking to somebody about it that you trust. That's very important. Don't just go, telling anybody that's going to listen. No, you have to make sure that you have a support system and people that you trust um, to help with that because you can talk to the wrong person and they can make it worse. Also like working out, doing yoga, meditation, and also eating healthy because that's something that's really not discussed a lot when it comes to anxiety. And I want to say a lot of other mental health issues is your gut.
Health issues, period.
Yeah.
Period, poo. Yes.
Your gut plays a huge, huge role in your mental health.
My gut.
You're the real gut on the inside, your stomach. um, so it's very important to make sure you're eating well, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, moving, even if it's just a little bit of yoga, meditating, journaling. There's finding something that you love to do that is not super mind engaging. It kind of is, coloring, painting,
Bruh, I'm 30. I'm not coloring.
I like coloring, word searches, taking pictures, whatever it is that you like to do that's kind of just, your fun little escape. Reading a really good fiction novel. Um
Fiction. Fiction. What else we got?
um
What
oh,
works best for
oh,
you?
therapy.
There.
Therapy.
So
Therapy.
let's talk about therapy a little bit because I think therapy gets over talked about and under talked about.
Okay, let me just put another one. Breaks from social media because those are very important to take you away from
Let
whatever is going on in the world.
let's talk about social media. Let's talk about therapy and social media. Let's go social media first.
Okay.
Breaks from social media, yes
Mhm.
or no? Um, Cleansing your timeline.
Yeah, but also
Ooh,
speaking to me, um, cleansing my timeline of like the negative stuff that I don't want to see or just like skipping through it isn't always like the trigger.
I'm taking steps here, right?
Okay.
Cleansing your timeline, whether it's people who just no longer part of your life and you just don't want to consume that, pages who put stuff out that you don't want to see, like how I told you when we got together and our relationship got super serious, super ethereal. Um, the IG model follows, went from high to low, the twerk vids went from high to low, even like this, just celebrity women went from like higher to lower because I'm like, what am I consuming this for? It doesn't do me any good. I stopped following a lot of the blogs because I think the blogs are trash. But nonetheless, I be needing the information they put out for topics, so I have to refollow them. Bastards. But spiritual word, you won't get a follow out of me because y'all ain't spiritual. Fuck y'all.
For real.
But then, and I say taking a break is yes and no because it's what what are you doing with the platform? How are you consuming it, and what effect does it have on you? Right? Are you living in real life? Um, because if you're living in real life, and like me, a lot of my social media time, my my active engaged social media time is not scrolling. It's having conversations with people who are in different parts of the world and this is the best platform for us to converse. So it's talking to your friends. That shit, it's good, you know.
Mhm.
But I also go outside. Like I joke about stoop kids and stuff, but we go out and do something once a week. Like we went to the bar Thursday night because I didn't foresee us going out Friday or Saturday night, but we ended up going out to dinner Friday, and then we went out for lunch Saturday, and then we went to church on Sunday, and we went and sat somewhere else Sunday. So we did like social stuff, but we make sure that we go outside and we live in real life because that's important.
Yeah.
And I think that the social media break, the let me get off of social media, that's super important for the people who don't live in real life and they don't have that natural balance.
Mm.
So you have to create like that super balance to get some balance in your life. I know you're gonna stand on you should just take breaks from social media. Sorry, I have a podcast, can't do it.
Yeah, I was just speaking to myself.
I know, I know, I know, I
So
know.
myself, I live in the real world, but I also have a tendency to just grab my phone and just open up an app and start scrolling. And it's just aimless. So it's like
You
it's
do
basically
you do aimless scroll and you don't
and I don't really be paying attention. I'm just like kind of just
you don't even like you know what, because I've like watched you scroll sometimes and you're not like reading
no.
like what's going on, watching the video, laughing,
No.
sending it to this group, sending it to that person. You just be
Yes, because it's like a habit. And, for me, especially, it's important for me to take my breaks because I see, there's a little setting that you can see how much time you spend on certain things and how much time you just spend on your phone, period.
I don't get those alerts anymore.
That's all bad. But,
Well, I'm hardly on my
but
phone at work though.
true. But then like when I see that my, social media is going up a lot, that I'm like, you know what? I spend like 3 hours a day on social media for what? I can be doing this, that, and the third with that 3 hours of time.
So here's the question I'd ask you though. Would you rather be on social media during that time or doing what you said you wanted to be doing?
Most of the time it's doing what I said I wanted to be doing.
Then why were you on social media not doing what you
Exactly, because it's a habit, and so I pick it up. So if I actually for me, what works for me is I have to put that, like, boundary on myself. Because if I don't, I will literally just sit there and any free second that I have or, when I'm cleaning or cooking and I'm just standing there or finally have, like, a moment to breathe, I, like, grab my phone and I open up an app for no good reason. Like, I have no reason.
Bro, your phone behavior is very bingy because like I can text you at work and it can sit for an hour and a half, and
Yeah.
then I can like beat you home, and then like you're in the back, you're like in our room doing something, and then your phone is like in a crease of the couch,
Yeah.
or you can text back before I finish my response. I'm like, "Man, why you text me back so fast? Like
Yeah.
I'm not trying to talk. Like
Yeah.
you know what though? I'm looking at you right now, and the way like your hair looks, you could do like the super short hair. No, 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 no. I'm talking about shorter than your bob. I'm not telling you to do them. I'm saying you can pull it off like the super like short, like wavy,
Mhm.
like the back might be faded type shit.
Oh, no.
I'm not
My curls would really be popping, though.
I'm not saying go get that.
I might with this summer heat, shoot.
but but I'm just saying like I didn't know if you could pull it off because I never thought about it, but I'm looking at you with your hair pulled back right now.
I don't got a big head.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I got that Tyra Banks forehead.
so you know, go to therapy, find a good therapist, and if the first therapist doesn't work, the second therapist doesn't work, it may be them, but it also may be you. You have to go to therapy wanting therapy, not because your friends told you to go, not because your partner told you to go. You got to be open and willing to be vulnerable. Like if you're not going to be vulnerable, you're wasting your time and money and insurance money if you
And
have
their
it.
time.
But more importantly, your time, because you can't get your time back. You can always make more money, but you can't make more time. It's only 24 hours in a day if you subscribe to Western beliefs. Conspiracy theory. But you know what? God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. Well, the church has. You know. That's a hell of a headline, ain't it?
Yeah. I like that one.
Like, oh, hell. Headline. Ooh. I don't know. But, you know, I was thinking about it today and yesterday because I gotta get the music right though. Gotta get the music right. YouTube is not gonna be rocking this episode. Because what was I saying? Because I think the church, y'all know how much I love the church. I want the church to be great. But the Lord has given us power. No. You can laugh. How? Joe Pace be on that stage going crazy. Has not given us the spirit of no. I'm looking forward to being an off-pitch tenor in a choir. I gotta have kids first though, because I gotta embarrass them while I'm doing it. It ain't no fun if I'm embarrassing them. I'll be a deacon and pray real long. I know the long prayer. Not giving us the spirit of fear. I want y'all to sit with this. God has not given us the spirit of fear. But I feel like the church has. Now, I grew up in church. And at a very young age, I heard the song Stir Up the Gift. God has not given us the spirit of fear. First time I ever heard that song, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church in Cartersville, Georgia, debuted the Anna Rose Mitchell Choir. They had the light blue robes. Them things was fire. That's when my Aunt Joyce was still in the choir. And they come in singing Down the Roads, filling the choir. Mike Dean, R.I.P. to a legend. And he's leading it. And they smoked it. I mean, they smoked that song. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about like hookah on a Friday night in Atlanta. Smoked. But you think about that song, God has not given us the spirit of fear. But it seems like the church takes that spirit of fear and they run with it. You know, they preach the spirit of fear just as much as they preach the Holy Spirit. And I think that it comes from a well-intentioned place. But so often when you have institutions, so often when you have man interpreting and deciphering and trying to teach God's word, he puts his own swing on it. And I'm probably going to do the same thing here. But too often I see the church trying to get people to fall in line with God's word by using fear. But if God hasn't given us the spirit of fear, he's given us power. Then church, what are you scared of? Now, I was sitting in a church one day and I was listening to discussions, right? And the conversation was about going to college and being exposed to new information. And how the minister was bothered that a college president told the students, open your mind, learn for yourself, question everything that your parents taught you, what you learned in church, question all of that stuff and develop your own beliefs. And the pastor was like, that's against God. And I go, God has not given us the spirit of fear. No, no, no. We can't be fearful of new information. Because let me be vulnerable with y'all for a second. I went to college. I questioned God, but I came back. And even in my questioning of God, I didn't just stop going to church. I went less. And then I reached out to who was then my youth pastor, who is now the pastor of the church that I'm a member of. And I asked him questions, and he gave me some valuable information. And from that, I developed my beliefs and my understanding and my interpretation of God's word in the life that I'm supposed to live. And sometimes that don't line up with a lot of what the church folks want, what the church say. But I go back to God hasn't given us the spirit of fear. He gave us power. And if you don't want your members to be exposed to different churches, to different pastors, to different worship services, right? To different information, if you don't want the people who came through your church to learn Buddhism, to learn Islam, to learn Judaism, and then come back to what they believe in, you're operating with the spirit of fear. You're not operating with power, because when there's power in the name of Jesus, right? It breaks chains. So sometimes we get chained up in something that's not right for us. We get chained up for a season, right? That's why we send people to jail sometimes, right? We don't send them there for life. Everybody don't go for life. Some people go for a week. Some people go for a night. Sometimes they just throw you the drunk tank. They're like, hey, you're too drunk. You don't need to be out. We're going to throw you the drunk tank. You're not going to get cited, nothing that we're going to put you here, keep you safe, sober up, go home. You see, you broke that chain real quick. But the church acts like if you go to the drunk tank, you got a life sentence. And that's not what it is. You just went to the drunk tank. You just got a misdemeanor. You got to go serve the rest of your probation. You know, your probation violation because you got a felony back 7 years ago. You got to go serve out these 6 months, and then you're free, right? Because you broke the chain. Because there's power, and that's what the name of Jesus is. It's power. We don't have the spirit of fear. We have power. So when we get new information, we shouldn't be afraid of new information, because we got to trust the power that is God's power, right? We talk about his divine power. We talk about his divine presence. But then all of a sudden we get somewhere and we go, oh, that's God ain't here. Thought he was omnipresent. If God ain't here, then where the hell am I? I can't be in hell. I'm not burning. That's the only place he ain't at. Right. According to you, according to him. So church, let your members go. Let them go to other churches. Let them go to other schools. Let them learn for themselves. Let them know what they believe and why they believe. Let them come. Let them circle back because of the experiences that they had where they go, this whole faith thing just don't make sense to me. Like, the only faith I know is my homegirl I grew up with. Like, this whole faith thing, it don't make sense. It don't make sense to me, right? But then when you find yourself in a rut, and then you open your wallet and you just like, bro, I'm broke. And then you put some pants on, you stick your hand in your pocket and you pull out like $30 and you go, yeah, this come from? I really left this money in my pocket? Or you ain't got no gas. You can't get to where you need to get, where you think you need to go to. And then you get a phone call, hey, we teleworking today. Where did that come from? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you have these random instances. You're going through something. You're hurting. You're not right. And then you get a phone call from the right person in your life. Hey, I just called and check on you, see how you doing. Everything okay with you? You want the truth or you want to lie? I'm not okay. And then you go, where did that phone call come from? Where did that come from, man? Had to be God. It's one time it's a coincidence. When it keeps happening and it keeps happening and it keeps happening, it's got to be God. But it took me to go through those life experiences for me to understand that, hey, you know, God, hold to his hand, God's unchanging hand. I had to let go. I had to let go to realize how strong his hands are. Because if I never let go, I almost let go. Felt like I couldn't take life anymore, you know, all of that. Problems had me down. Yeah, all of that. But he held me close. So I couldn't let go. I'm here today because God kept me, right? But not because of fear. Not because of fear. No, no, no. Because of power. We're going to transition. I got a little excited. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I need some music. I got too little. Let me see. What's a good cookout song?
I'm from the West Coast, so
Yeah, you know nothing about West Coast. I mean nothing about cookouts. Y'all, I don't know what y'all do on the West Coast. Funny thing on my
I'm offended.
I'm offended too. I was looking at my Snap memories today. And 2 years ago, May 23rd, I was preparing pork ribs for a barbecue at my house.
And no one knew that we were dating.
I know, it's crazy. Oh no, we can't listen to Will Smith rapping though. Oh, I had some Stevie Wonder playing in the background. But anyways, yeah, man, let's talk about Juneteenth. Juneteenth has officially gone mainstream. Juneteenth has officially gone mainstream. Hey, baby, will you reach in there and grab a Juneteenth shirt real quick for me? Because since Juneteenth is going mainstream. Are they not in the green? Probably in the green one because those are all shirts that have been printed. Or oh no, then it's the one underneath that box you were just in. If it's gonna take too much effort, then we can just not do it. But Juneteenth has officially gone mainstream. Walmart got Juneteenth ice cream. It's like a mix of red velvet and ooh boy, I've been preaching too long. I'm starting to sound like a preacher. They got a it's red velvet and cheesecake. And I forgot what I asked. Let me go to my notes. Are these Juneteenth products pandering, appropriation, or is it appropriate? Because I'm leaning on this is par for the course, you know. This is freedom right here, you know. July 4th didn't free everybody. Juneteenth freed the rest of us. Thank you, baby. I actually don't have them listed on my website right now. We got to talk about that. We got to get it set up. It's a long story, but they're available on Instagram at Free Big Baby the Goat. At Free Big Baby the Goat. If you want Juneteenth gear, you come to at Free Big Baby the Goat, and we got you because we are. Anyways, let's get back to this Juneteenth thing, right? So you got the Walmart with the Juneteenth ice cream. I saw another post with some plates and cups and cards, and one of them cards was like, "It's the freedom for me." I was. I'm trying to figure out who wrote that card because if it was up to me, I would have been.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
I had to play the whole one because they had to get fired for that shit. But then you start seeing people bothered by it, right? And that's why I ask: is it a pandering? Is it appropriation, or is it appropriate? Don't shoot the messenger. but it's appropriate pandering. Now, mind you, I highly doubt black folks are gonna buy this. I feel like these are gonna be at the white folks cookouts. Like, oh yeah, we got the Juneteenth cups, Juneteenth plates. Yes, yeah, there's the freedom for me, but I still ain't free. You still shackling me. And you want me to come celebrate at your Juneteenth? Oh yes, we're gonna have chitterlings. We're gonna have pig's feet. We're gonna have some collard greens with back fat in them. Oh yes, man, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have a nice, good old nigger meal. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean a good Juneteenth meal. A Juneteenth meal. I know.
About the potato salad.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you because you weren't speaking into your microphone. But no. So let's be serious about this for a second. It's a national holiday. You've gone mainstream. Once you go mainstream, you open yourself up to so much. So it's a point. This is so weird, right? Because we have no problem celebrating Cinco de Mayo and not knowing or caring what the hell happened on the 5th of May. And from the conversations that I've had, that's not truly Mexican independence. But we don't care about that. We want to throw on some burros, ponchos, and drink Mexican beer and take tequila shots all night and celebrate. St. Patrick's Day. Don't ask me what the point of it is. I don't know. It's wear green and get drunk. Right? So now Juneteenth has fallen into that. I mean, hell, if you want to talk about Independence Day, the 4th of July, do we really talk about the history of America on that day? Or do we just get drunk and eat pork ribs? So now Juneteenth has gone from unknown to under talked about to now overexploited. And how do you win here? You talk about it. You press the issue. You don't get bothered by the mainstream adoption of the holiday because that's what you wanted. Because by becoming a mainstream holiday, people are going to look it up and ask questions. A la my in-laws wanting to know what Juneteenth was because they had never heard of it until last year. And then Cindy explains what it is because she's aware of what's going on in these streets. I ain't gonna say she woke because that's disrespecting this house. But no, she understands it. So then she was able to educate her parents on Juneteenth. That's the goal, right? That should be the goal. But I'm gonna tell you, black people, make as much money as you can off Juneteenth, because everybody else is too. What you have to say? Oh, so my bad. We won't edit it out. But anyways, now so Juneteenth has gone mainstream, and it's gonna get exploited. It's gonna get appropriated. But at the end of the day, that's what we do to holidays in this country. So it's appropriate. But I tell you what wasn't appropriate was Dr. Umar Johnson having the audacity to take a shot at LeBron James for his son's choice of prom date. Now, I talked about this with Parlay Pete on Thursday because I think it's fucking sick that adults have an opinion on what a young man does for prom, okay? Because LeBron is famous and Bronny is famous because LeBron's his dad, you people think you have entitlement to talk about his life. You think you people can cast judgment on his life. And then Dr. Umar, you have the nerve to call out LeBron as a role model because his son went to prom with a white girl. You said, no disrespect, but I thought you were a role model. With the utmost disrespect, Dr. Umar, I thought you were opening up a school. But the state of Pennsylvania put out a cease and desist. Sounds like you a scammer. Sounds like you ain't no better than these young boys running around Atlanta in these scat packs. Sounds like you ain't no better than these folks we got running Black Lives Matter. Scamming in the name of. You ain't no better than Walmart and their Juneteenth ice cream. Party City and their Juneteenth cups and plates and wherever the store that was, right? Allegedly, I don't know if it's really Party City. I'm just talking shit, right? But you're no better than any of those people. And you're talking about LeBron James is supposed to be a role model. He is a role model. Just because he doesn't peddle the same narrative that you peddle, just because he doesn't have the same thoughts and beliefs that you have, and just because his son went to prom with a damn white girl, what the fuck does that mean? And who the fuck are you? Grow up. I don't like that. I don't like grown people having greasy ass opinions about kids. That boy's a kid. And if he wants to take that girl to prom, let him take her to prom. That's none of your business. He ain't your kid. Love is blind. Love is blind. So somehow we started watching this show last night called Love is Blind. Somebody watched the episode without me, and I will not forgive them. You're gonna get back into your microphone now since we're talking about some stuff that you're a part of. Love is Blind.
Even though take over your mind.
Huh? I couldn't hear you because you said it again, please.
I decided it'll take over your mind.
What, love?
You think it's love. It's truly not.
What is it? Lust?
Are you serious? You don't know that song?
No, I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Who's it by?
I don't know. It's a 90s song. I forgot right now.
It's 2022.
I don't know.
All right, so Love is Blind. So somehow we stumbled upon another Nick Lachey show. And it's called Love is Blind. And I think it's by far the dumbest show I've ever seen in my life that I actually liked. I think it is it speaks to where
I knew it.
Who's it by?
Eve.
Oh, okay.
EVE.
Did Ja Rule have a verse on that? Never mind, think of another song. But anyways, so yeah, we watched the show Love is Blind. And can you explain Love is Blind, Eve? Eve, can you explain this show that's Love is Blind?
So it's a group of men and women, of course, that are, I shouldn't say of course, that are going on to the show because they haven't had the best luck in the real world. Because supposedly their looks aren't the best, supposedly.
And real quick, looking at them, nobody was like, oh my God, drop dead gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't anybody on there who I'm like, oh,
exactly.
They were all decent looking people.
Yeah.
So I can imagine it's probably their personalities, their insecurities that are actually stopping them more than their appearance. But continue.
So the show is that they meet in these rooms separated by a wall, but you're able to talk to them. So you go on these dates. That's how the dates go. You get to kind of pick your people that you want to pursue things more seriously with. And in the end, I did not realize this, but in the end, you end up the man ends up proposing to the woman without actually seeing them. And I just think that's kind of wild, but
I just know that wouldn't be me.
You don't think my voice is sexy?
That has nothing to do with anything. I need to see what your face looks like. Cause I'll be like, oh girl who like left in Cancun. Cause if I can't look at you and like what I'm looking at, no matter how great your personality is, I know that I'm shallow enough to where, nah, bro, this ain't gonna work. Yeah, so the show is kind of interesting, because you really watch some of the interactions, and I think the one interaction that really brought us to talking about it is, shout out to my king, I don't remember his name, but he was having he had like two girlfriends on the show, And it's super crazy how the human brain is wired today and how we view relationships, because these are people who've never laid eyes on one another, are on a dating show looking for love, but also have the audacity to get jealous and get upset and hold it against somebody because they're taking someone else on the show seriously. Well, I don't have a steady line of communication with you. I only get to talk to you like during this date time when we're drunk, sitting across from each other, not looking at each other, just wall in between us. So I don't know what other moves you're making. And it takes a while for us to get vulnerable and comfortable and totally honest with somebody. I mean, that's an ongoing thing. And I think even in a healthy relationship, God forbid I'm somebody on a dating show who's just giving up on life and say, you know what? I'm gonna embarrass myself to find love. Hopefully, maybe, probably not though. So you got this guy who's interested in this one chick, these two chicks, and then he asked one first, like, "Hey, if I were to propose to you, would you say yes?" She was like, "Nah." She walked out on him. She was like,
Screw you guys, I'm going home. Okay, that.
and he came out crying, and then he got consoled by the dude who was like gonna take her, which was super weird too. Like, bruh, like, huh? You guys supposed to be in here holding each other down, but y'all are competing for the same women. It's crabs in a barrel type shit. It's fucking crazy. Then she gets consoled by his two, or his 1A, or his 1B, whatever we call it, right? So then he has date with her, and he tells her the truth, fool. Hey, this is what I just had to let you know. Then she ain't like that, because she like, well, if she said yes, what would you have said? And that's what happened on the show. Like, hey, bro, you not expect her to ask you that question? You not have an answer prepared? Like, I mean, even if we're gonna be truthful here and you're gonna tell her like the truth, you should have already like thought through that. Anytime we've had like heart to heart conversations, a conversation that I know is gonna be hard, I think through like some of the questions you're gonna ask me, because silence. Tell you something, fellas. When you're having serious conversations with the woman, even if you are thinking out, like, and you're like processing and putting your thoughts together, silence ain't good. Because silence is gonna make whatever they don't want the truth to be true, even if it ain't. So with that, the dude was like, I mean, pretty much he was like, it was yeah. And then she's like, well, I don't want to be your second, all of this and that. And he's like, you're not my second. And then she's like, well, if I was so sure about this and you weren't sure. And I'm sitting there, and you could just like watch us, what I'm saying, identifying with both of them, right? Cause I'm sitting here in man brain, like I've been saying on this pod, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but drinking water today. So miss me with the ifs. Because let me not speak for a minute. I when you're early in the dating stage, you're dating. And what leads you to where you ultimately end up at can be different things. Maybe you meet somebody and you fall in love with your high school sweetheart, only person you've ever dated, and y'all stay married for 50,000 years. And you go, wow, man, one shot, one kill. Have at it. Others of us have gone through trial and error. And we didn't all end relationships on our terms. Sometimes it ended because somebody else wanted it to end. Sometimes it ended because of time, space, distance. Sometimes it ended because hell, lack of communications. Like sometimes a relationship can end because of the lack of ability to execute a relationship, but not a lack of love. Like a lot of times people want to say that love cures all. Man, hell no. Love is love. Yeah, love love starts the fire, but the wood keeps it going. But no, on a serious note, it takes more than love. And I think I told you this like years ago. I was told love ain't enough. And I was like, what do you mean love's not enough? What else do you need? Nigga, you're toxic. What else? Right? And the different situations that you find yourself in like get you to where you're supposed to be. And everybody's path is different. And if you want somebody to take your path, then you are, for one, being dismissive to the growth that they need to get there. But Cindy and I joke, my sensation, we joke all the time, or I joke all the time that if you'd have took me up on my first date offer, we wouldn't be sitting here today. Because I was in a different place. I was into different things, a different lifestyle, and I was not ready to be what she wanted and needed from me at that point in her life. But thank God, through trial, error, grace, life, that we're now here together. We're like we're on the same time. But we weren't when we started. We weren't the day we met. But you can't, for me, in my man brain, like, you don't hold my trials to you against me, because the way I feel about you is the way I feel about you. And I'm open to that growing and developing. And I think highly of you. But just because you were ready to settle down with me on day 3, and it took me to get to day 5, but the goal is a happy, healthy relationship. What do we lose in those 2 days? And I think that in what old boy was going through with old girl, and granted, she came back through, he proposed, next date, got her. Okay. She came through. I don't know how Cancun worked out because I ain't watched that episode yet. I know. I was just saying we hadn't watched it yet. But the point being is she knew she wanted to be there, and don't miss your blessing because you get so caught up on the path to the blessing. You get too caught up into the journey that you forget about the destination. What you got for that woman brain?
I can see where she was coming from with the second choice. In a woman's brain, you never want to be second choice, but especially when it's like literally, it's not, it is trials to get there, but they're so recent. It's in between what's happening with them. Granted, it's a show. So what else did you expect? But me thinking of it coming from me, who wouldn't be on a show, and someone literally was trying to marry somebody else or go out with somebody else, whatever you want to call it, be serious with somebody else, and they denied it. And then now he's coming for me. I'd be like, no, really? I wasn't worth the first time. Like, I wasn't worth I wasn't your first option, basically.
Bro, I be thinking that, for one, our brains are like thinking things differently. And let's take it away from a show. Let's take it to real life, because I think if we take it to real life, we can get into a more authentic conversation about it. Well, you weren't my first choice, not because I don't think you're the best thing here, but it's some other shit I want to do first. And I know that with where you are and who you are, that shit may not happen. And I'm not where you need me to be. So it's not about valuing the choice, right? Like, it's not about saying that, hey, she looked better than you. She's a better girl than you, right? You know what I mean? It's like, she's easy.
Yeah, but we're talking about marriage here.
I'm bringing out the conversation to, let's bring it out to like just adult dating.
Mm.
And the difference in a mindset, right, of dating to fuck and dating to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you see, hey, this right here is going to run its course 2 weeks to a month tops.
Mm-hmm.
Just could have my jersey in the rafters and I'm over with. Done.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of this, but I'm not ready for it. And I don't want to mess it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and this is me being a man, but I think sometimes men get a bad rap for meeting a great woman, knowing she's a great woman, but not being ready to be with a great woman, and that's taken as a bad thing. I think there is something in knowing that, hey, this girl is in a great space, and I'm not there yet. And I don't want to waste her time. Excuse me. I don't want to waste my time. And I don't want to ruin the opportunity to spend the rest of my life with this person because I'm trying now when I should be working on myself to get ready to give this woman what I know she wants and deserves.
Mm-hmm.
I think that gets lost. But I also think that you chose her over me, and it's like I don't have any respect for her. I respect you. Like, that's part of the thought process. Is I respect you, and then it could be like, well, why wouldn't you just not change your life for me right now? Well, shit, I'm still me. Like, I still gotta like work through me so I can be what you want from me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say for me to be what you want me to be because I'm still me. I'm still gonna be me, but I got to get to my best me before I can be the me for you in the right way.
I see and understand what you're saying, but also we think, well, I think why we're constantly evolving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not know how much of a blessing or whatever this woman is and be willing to sacrifice being able to change, not to change, but improve and become whatever version of yourself that you feel like you need to be for this woman while you're with her. You know, sometimes it's not gonna harm the relationship.
What if you want to fuck these hoes?
Well, then that's different. Cause you ain't fucking no hoes when you're with me. Well, I can't say that because everybody has their own choice in their own lives, but I'd rather the person not fuck hoes when you're with me.
So again, if you know you're in that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Golly, can I be super vulnerable or no?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Sure.
So from the day that I met you,
Mm-hmm.
getting to the point that I was ready to date you,
Mm-hmm.
like fuck how you felt about wanting to date me, but me getting ready to date you,
Mm-hmm.
shit happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when I met you, you're a woman. You're an attractive woman. I'm an attractive guy. Gonna tell some jokes, say some funny stuff. Gonna give me your number. We're gonna hang out. You're gonna like me.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't work, which was a good thing though. Like it made me respect you. Like I tell people all the time, they'll ask like, "So how? What?" And I'm like, honestly, she ain't go for my bullshit. Like, like everything was working, but it didn't work. You sit there, eye contact, conversation, smile, laugh, everything. But no. Then the private conversations happen. Get an understanding of where the head is, where the, you know what I'm saying, it goes. Ooh. Okay, you're not gonna be a fun time. You're not. You're not gonna be just a fun time. You know. You're not the hose. You're a woman who is super awesome, super dope. I'm not there yet. So then it's a pullback. It's a ooh, I lost your number. Ooh, don't DM me anymore. Then it's a oh, what I thought was fun and rewarding isn't. Let's hope this ship hasn't sailed. Because the ship could sail. And I saw it in the ocean and thought that thing was sailing and got a little scared, got a little nervous. Not gonna lie to you. But then, just because you're on the ship don't mean, you're ready for that water. And life happens. We're hanging out, and I go, "Oh yeah, that ship ain't sailing. It's still anchored. Got it. Cool." And then we converse, and then you start saying things you're not supposed to say to a woman that you like and you're attracted to, and you go, "Yeah, what I'm doing right now ain't doing it for me, but what we're doing right now does way more for me than what that is. I've got to see what this is about. I got to see what this itch is." And long story short, it's scratched. 2 years later, we're here. But it's about God's divine timing. Because even getting here, there are various times this could have not been here today. It
Right.
had been here a year ago, but maybe not been here today.
Right.
And I'm saying all of that to say that, for one, love is not blind. Two, everyone's timing is different, and don't hold people to your standard. But at the same time, like, I didn't expect you to wait around on me.
I didn't.
I know, I know, I know. I'm saying, but I didn't expect that.
Mm.
And like, what waiting around on you? Like, God,
Mhm.
power
Right.
brought us together at a time where it worked.
Right.
And time together helped us. Time apart helped us. You know, uh, people people don't like to look at the positives in the things that don't appear positive, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how good filet mignon is until you want one, and the best you can get is hamburger steak. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or nothing,
Yeah.
right? You're sitting there hungry, just being like, "Dang boy, I could eat this or man. I ain't really eat nothing, and I have my filet mignon." And I just want to say, hey, people, don't forget their destination while you're going through the journey. But also, while you're going through the journey, don't be so consumed on the destination that you lose sight of the milestones that it takes to get there, the processes that it takes to get there, and what you experience while you're going through it. As we get ready to close this out, what are your thoughts on what do you value more, the destination or the journey?
Now I value the journey.
Go on.
I used to kind of focus on the end game, but the older I got, the more I realized and paid attention to all the little hidden gems within this thing called life, you know? And I feel like it makes you be a lot more present than just trying to get to the end.
So, what was the end that you were trying to get to?
It would be different things.
Like what?
I don't know. I was younger, I was a teenager. So I don't know, like graduating high school and then going to college and figuring out what I wanted to do with my life or, whatever the end game was. So I was just focused on like, hurry up, let's get through these days and let's get there rather than actually enjoying the days.
So what caused you to change?
Honestly, my anxiety phase like definitely made me sit down and not be so rush, hurry up and get to this point. It really sat me down, literally laid me out and
I'll
like
sit you down and lay you out.
and literally like I had no choice but to focus on the little things because that's all I could hold on to was the little things.
So where you sit at today
Mhm.
and where you sit at before then,
Mhm.
like which phase was more rewarding for you while you're experiencing it, because sometimes we grow and we evolve and we make decisions that are better for us, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it feels better while we're doing it.
Mm.
Eating the dry grilled chicken, the cup of brown rice, and whatever vegetables, right? That is better for your body.
That too, when
But
I
the
was trying to get fit is another end game.
but like the juicy burger
Uh-huh.
tastes so much better. Cheat day is great, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So like talk to me about how you felt like transitioning through both of them, like through the different phases and how one phase made you feel like the trade-offs. Let's talk about the trade-offs.
Um, the trade-offs. I don't really know. Ask it a different way.
All right, so for me,
Mhm.
I've been for a large portion of my life a destination person.
Mm.
Uh, Way less focused on the journey is how do we get to the destination, and once we get there, how the hell do we get out of here and get to the next spot, right?
Mm.
It's like playing cruising the world, right? Hit the different checkpoint, trying to get to the finish line. Once we get to the finish line, start the next race, right? Put in 50 more cents, we'll start the next race. And I mean, I still struggle with it. Like I'm still like, let's get here.
Mm.
But I think the changes that I've made is making sure that the process gets me there.
Mhm.
And then creating a process that works, a process that can be duplicated, and a process that I can share with others that gets me to where I'm trying to go, but also can help other people get to where they go, because I can't lose sight of the destination, or I end up like the Israelites in the wilderness for 40 years, right? Some good things came out of that process, but damn it, man,
Mhm.
we walking around for 40 years for a short journey. So I try to keep my eye on the prize,
Mhm.
but in that I try to like build backwards. Okay, here's where we're going.
Yeah,
All right, so how do we get there?
right. And I think that's a smart way to do it because you do have your end game, but you're not sitting there just focused on that. You're actually building into the small daily changes and it helps motivate you to get to that end game.
Yeah, Endgame, that's a pretty good movie that I didn't watch. Fell asleep on it.
I don't think I watched it.
I don't even think I tried to watch. I take that back. But I think that's a great way to end.
Mhm.
Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
You know what? I figured out how to get you more engaged. I'm not going to tell you how I do it though.
Whatever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we're done here. This is probably an awful ending.
Big baby, yeah.